we have a brand new fight night main event. This time, the main event for Rio de Janeiro on October 11th. It is Charles Oliveira versus Rafael Fiziev. Now, this fight was supposed to happen, I believe, in 2022, 2023, around that time, but it fell apart. I forgot why. And now we are in a very interesting time in the 155 division with Ilia Topuria winning the belt off of Charles Oliveira. Islam moving out of the way. We have the Armand situation. Yeah, so I want to try and start with the positives of this fight. And now, this fight on paper should absolutely deliver. You got a former champion in Oliveira who has a bunch of records for finishes, submissions in the lightweight division, and you have a guy who he comes at wars every time. Really fun on the feet, the Muay Thai background, but 1 month, 1 week, and 2 days. It has been since we've seen Oliveira get knocked out by Ilia Topuria. Now the difference with that knockout above all of his other finishes, well, losses due to finish in MMA, he was put out cold. Ilia Topuria starched him. And when you deal with a loss at that level, you know, you're getting hit in the head. You're getting brain damage. You're getting brain damage. You're getting all these things right. And for a guy like Oliver, who's turning 36 very, very shortly. In fact, in like, what would that be? Uh, 11 days? Somewhere around there. When I look at Oliver and I look at what he does so well in his fights, is that we know he's a bit of a glass cannon. We know he can be knocked out. We know he can be finished. But at the same time, he has really good striking. I would say he has better power than Rafael Fiziev in his hands. And when you look at this on paper, this should be a fight that Oliveira wins 9 times out of 10. That's really how I look at it. Like, Oliveira isn't just a former champion. Oliveira is one of the best ever doing. You look at these statistics: 10 wins by knockout, 20 wins by submission, only 4 by decision, and the Ilia loss that we're talking about right now fought Michael Chandler that missed last year, and apart from a couple backdrops, it was a very clean win over Michael Chandler the second time. And when in the first fight, Chandler almost finished him in that first round. Then you had the Armand Sarukian fight right after the 30-year strike, which we're going to get to, where it was a very, very close fight. Armand Sarukian, the number 1 contender, the guy who hasn't lost since losing. It wasn't his last loss to Gamrot. Now he's on like an 8 fight win streak. Which I want to make an entire video on Armand Sarukian with what he's doing right now, how awful he is at trying to use his position, use his leverage to get the title fight, but different video. Like KO video that is, like I mentioned before, after the Islam Makhachev loss. when, after that loss, what questions were there. But up until 2024, Oliveira was the number one or number two guy. Then you get to the Islam loss, where he gets submitted in the second round in his prime. These are the only two guys that were able to beat him. And this is a very close fight. One of the judges gave him the fight against Lukin. Gaethje, he submitted in the first round after being knocked down. Poirier submitted in the third round after dealing with the adversity there. Chandler, like I said in the first fight, anyway, finished him in the first round, and he came back and won it in the second. Beat Tony, Kevin Lee, Jared Gordon, all these names, Jim Miller, Quake Guida, and his last loss was to Paul Felder by TKO before going on this wicked win streak when he had his kid. Now, it's very important we discuss where Oliveira is in his career. And where he is he's on his way out. There's no way around it. 35. This is the time where usually, in the lightweight classes, we're saying goodbye to a lot of these guys. And I do think Rafael Fiziev would be a really good addition on his way out to have on his record. I think that Fiziev, over the next few years, if you can deal with his injuries, deal with his inactivity, I think he can be a mainstay at the lightweight division. I think that he could be the Justin Gaethje archetype of non-stop wars, a top contender. Maybe he doesn't get to the title because he's not signed under all the Abdelaziz. But you know what I mean, right? The number three guy, whose only losses are to the number two guy, the number one guy, and the guy fighting for the 170 title in November. If you damn right there. Dan Hooker's just down there. Gaethje's holding out for a title shot after beating Fiziev. So, by the way, if we're gonna look at it this way, if Oliveira beats Fiziev cleaner than Gaethje did, then you have Fiziev and Holloway, who knocked out Gaethje ahead of him. Like for me, Fiziev snaps a three-fight losing streak against Bahamondes. I would have done like a Moicano fight with him. I would have done mm, maybe a Yoel Alvarez, right? Where we're not just instantly shooting him off the ladder to the former champion off one win. Again, the way I look at this sport, right, is we are trying to build each fighter into their own personality. Whether they're a big talker, whether they're a quiet guy, whether they're a grappler, boxer, whatever it may be, I want to build around them and build the story. Like, hey, this guy's on this card. Let me tell you, he went through this guy, this guy. He's more of a striker, more of this. But like when you do this with a lot of fighters, and they did it with Marcus McGee, even though it made no sense against Jan, right? Where you're gonna shoot him off the ladder as fast as you can against a top guy, a fan favorite, a guy that has earned the respect of the fans, and you're doing it months after this guy gets flatlined. This is what they do with Benoit Saint Denis and Dustin Poirier. Again, like I've been saying, this is what they were doing with him and Gaethje originally in the first fight. even in the second fight. I don't get it, man. I do not get where this sport is at right now. Where, we're trying to head into the new era, the streaming era, where whether we might be staying at ESPN, WWE re-signed with them. Maybe they're saying they're gonna cut it back to like $20 pay per views. That's what they're doing WWE always. We need to build more rivalries. We need to build rematches. We need to build stars to be like, okay, he lost here, but he worked his way back up to the top. And you don't see that. Sean O'Malley faced Marab instantly. Um, they were talking about giving the immediate rematch to Umar after he lost the first fight. I don't know. It really makes no sense to me. As we get closer to this fight in October, and I think more about this fight, I'll give, my technical breakdown of it. But, like, if you ask me right now, I think Fiziev's best opportunities will be in the first and second round. And if Oliveira is able to get him down, or even find the range with Fiziev, who is a short, stocky fighter, we saw it against Chandler twice. That Chandler had success, like we've been saying. I just think that Oliveira, as long as he's not completely lost, should be able to run through him. But if Fiziev knocks him out, the narrative is going to be, well, Oliveira just got knocked out with Topuria. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But I love both of these fighters. Oliveira is by far one of my favorite fighters of the modern era, or like the previous, or whatever we're gonna call that, ESPN era. I know it's still going on, but yeah, that's what I got. Give me more time to think about this fight, but makes no sense to me. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about Oliveira versus Fiziev being booked? Do you like this fight? How do you see it going? Do you think it's too early for Oliveira to come back? And do you think Fiziev can actually hang with the top of the division? Those are the main questions. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Thanks for watching. Later.